Hi guys, and welcome back to Getting There, the podcast. Today I have a very special solo episode. Today's episode is one of the most important conversations I've ever had because it is about our children, their future, and the silent crisis that is unfolding right in front of us. You see, we live in a world where we are more connected than ever, and yet somehow we are more disconnected than ever before, especially our children. They are growing up in a digital landscape that's shaping their brains, shaping their confidence, shaping their self-esteem, often before they even understand what those words mean. They're living in these dual realities, the real world and then the created, pressured-filled world of social media. And let me tell you guys, after speaking to Dr. Sanjeev, it is not without its cost. So, excessive screen time is now directly linked to attention issues. Children who spend more than 2 hours a day are 7.7 times more likely to be diagnosed with ADHD. Now, I don't know about you, but that is absolutely staggering. But perhaps the most disturbing truth is this, right? These platforms aren't designed to protect our children. We think our kids are safe on gaming apps, on kids' apps. Let me tell you, they are not. They are designed to profit from them. These apps use the exact same psychological techniques as the gambling machines in Las Vegas. They use variable rewards, flashing lights, and huge dopamine spikes for our kids. It's not just entertainment, this is addiction by design. By the time a child turns 13, advertising firms can hold up to 72 million data points on them. 72 million, guys. That is before they've even sat their GCSEs. So it's not that the kids cannot focus anymore. This is that we've trained them not to. So I want to give you an example. I was speaking to somebody somewhere and she was like Gen Z, and she was saying to me that she was struggling to sleep and she's been diagnosed with ADHD. And I said to her, do you put your phone away before you go to bed? Do you put it in the other room? What's your sleep hygiene like? She's like, oh, no, I just love TikTok. And she watches TikTok before bed. And guys, it's completely electrocuting them and rewiring their brain. So no wonder we've got this inability to sit still, and that's even without the gaming. The gaming is instant gratification, the rapid fire, the reward system, the sensory overload. And the more time these kids spend in ultra stimulating digital environments, the harder it becomes for them to engage in the real world. The slower, quieter world that requires patience. So we're constantly seeing these children walking around with their phones in their hand and getting these quick dopamine hits. And then all of a sudden we take them away and they just can't sit at school. Are you surprised? Now, here's something that's really deeply concerning to me, and I don't feel that it's getting enough attention. But also, brain cancer, okay? Might get silenced for this one. Brain cancer is now one of the leading causes of children, and it's surpassed leukemia. Now, while the evidence isn't definitive yet, there are growing concerns about EMF exposure, about radiation exposure, Bluetooth and Wi-Fi, especially for developing brains. Guys, the earpods connect by two magnets going to either side of our brains. Yeah, they are emitting signals. The children have wireless devices that is emitting a frequency through their brain. We have no idea. We haven't lived long enough to know what these are going to do to 5 and 6 year olds. France has already banned Wi-Fi in their nurseries and has capped the use for Wi-Fi for younger kids in schools. And here, what do we do in the UK, guys? We hand them iPads before they can fucking talk. So we're raising children that are digitally fluent, but completely and emotionally illiterate. They can create a viral video, but if you go and take a Gen Z, they can't even look you in the eye and have a conversation. They start getting withdrawals when they can't pick up their phone, when their phones aren't near them. Now, that's not their fault. This is what is happening through the use of these devices. They're more than likely to text us than to talk. If you call somebody that is in their 20s, guys, they will probably freak out. They'll be like, oh my God, what's this? We're so used us as well, like hiding behind these screens. They're more comfortable with avatars than they are with actual emotions. You know, and after speaking to Dr. Sanjeev, I think what we're seeing is a collapse in empathy, a collapse in conflict resolution, basic face-to-face interaction. There's no real communication anymore. I feel like we've built a world that stimulates their minds, but really it's like starving our children's hearts. And don't even let me get to ChatGPT, like, because I'm like, what on earth is happening? Do you remember when we went to school, guys? And I don't know about you, but I was really god awful with maths. And I'd like always try and lean on the calculator. And my teacher was like, listen, you're not always going to have a calculator in your pocket. Hey. So what's that done? I mean, I'm probably, okay, so say I was like 16 then, I'm 35 this year, almost, 19 years later. My maths has completely and utterly gone to shit, guys. Can't count, divide, anything. Why? Because I don't exercise that muscle, because I know I can rely on this, and it's awful. Now, maths is one thing, but ChatGPT is taking away the ability for our kids to independently think, to write, to orchestrate their own sentences. The tools are like they've got their own assistant that are enabling them to think, to write. You know, most children don't even really use a pen and paper anymore. And when I was going through, what shall I call it? Some real crises in my life. One of my saving graces has been to journal. And interestingly, if you haven't listened, guys, I did this amazing episode with Alice Law, and she talks about the journaling process. I can't remember what she called it. Therapeutic writing. That's it, therapeutic writing. And I promise you, as I begin to write, I feel that part of my soul, my emotion, everything flows through me. And children are not able to express that. And then we're just hiding them behind these screens that's already, I mean, if you've got an iPhone, you'll know like by now it already preempts the rest of the sentence, doesn't it? And I think as a generation, because I don't want to put this just on kids, we are operating at a dangerously scary time of creating dependency on these, dependency on ChatGPT, dependency on everything. And at what point does the internet or ChatGPT or whatever, social media, I don't know, like it is just now an extension of us. I feel like we're almost becoming robots. You know, children are no longer being encouraged to struggle through a question, to be curious. They're just straight away. If they just go straight online and find things out. If they don't know something, they just ask a robot. And the robot doesn't teach them how to think or go and find the answer. It's just giving them the answer. You know, kids, we're raising kids that can, quite frankly, Google search faster than we can think. And the scary thing is, it is really seductive, isn't it? It's seductive to us parents using AI. It's seductive to children to use it for homework. Teachers are probably using it to mark essays. Children are using it to avoid thinking altogether. And I know, guys, I know what I would be doing. If I could put something in somewhere to do my work, trust me, guys, that's what I'm doing. But it was only through doing the things that we don't want to do, I believe, that we grow. And I believe it's a kind of exposure therapy. And through writing and learning, we expand our brains, we expand our horizons, we'll find things that we didn't even know that would pull us. And children are almost having this barrier now because they have this instant answer from their devices. And for me, I just find it also as a parent as well so worrying, you know. What happens when they never learn to develop a point of view because they're just being told and spoon-fed online how we should think, how we should act, what we should buy, what we should sell. You know, we're being sold and told to, ladies and gentlemen, from the moment we get up in the morning. And I believe that there'll become a day when we wake up and realise that essentially we are all just becoming fucking robots. This isn't about banning AI. It's about asking where human thought ends and automated programming begins. Because if we don't draw a line now, it might just get drawn for us. And I feel like this this whole issue is so much bigger than tech. It's not just about screen time. It's about the culture we are now building, a culture of surveillance, a culture of distraction. No wonder everyone's apparently walking around with fucking ADHD, and a culture of hyperstimulation. Kids no longer get to be bored. And when you're not bored, guys, you're not imaginative and you're not creative. Like my son the other day, he's only 4, and we were driving somewhere. He's like, Mum, I'm bored. I thought, mate, you have no idea what was bored. Yeah, what's boring, rather. I grew up in an alcoholic house when there weren't phones. And from the moment I would get in and all weekend, I probably wouldn't have much interaction with me. And I promise you, I used to count the raindrops coming outside of my window. Like, we have no idea what it's like to not be stimulated. And for me, in those moments of silence, we have the ability to connect to something higher than ourselves, whatever you want to call that, right? My best ideas have come from moments of silence. And I'm not sitting here and saying I'm a meditation guru, because guys, that can be further away from the truth. But there is something that lives within us, that lives within our souls, that I believe we came here to do. And you cannot get connected with that whilst you've got the noise of the outside world. It really, for me, is as simple as that. And I think it's time we started taking some of that back. And maybe it's not about restriction, but about us reclaiming stuff, reclaiming conversation, reclaiming boredom. Let them be bored. Let them be bored. Reclaiming the human part of childhood. And for me, this conversation isn't about panic, right, guys? It's just about awareness. It's just about agency. You know, I was speaking to Dr. Sanjeev, and he was saying in China, because don't think that the UK government doesn't know what the fuck's going on here, guys. Please. In China, they banned social media from, I think it's just social media, I don't know if it's other apps as well, from 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. because they know how much it dysregulates sleep. They know how addictive it is. Like, I'm not talking about a lazy group of children. I'm talking about the fact their brains have been rewired in the same way it be rewired through porn, in the same way it be rewired through alcohol or drugs. They've been rewired for this instant dopamine fix, for this noise to be constantly busy. And I feel like this conversation is about recognising the invisible forces that are shaping our children's mind. And asking, you know, is this really what we want? Because I feel like for so long, we've just given our kids iPads because it's just quiet and it's pacifiers and everyone else is doing it. But we are just starting to see more and more children coming through, guys, that have no idea that the online world is just other people's highlights. They don't have the ability to see that that's not real fucking life. And even me, like I say, almost 35 years of age this year, I've had a lot of life experience. I know when people post, we only see the good shit. Yeah, we don't see their husbands leaving them and them crying and all of these other things. We don't get to see all of that, right? And the problem is it's creating this generation of constant comparison. And you know what they say, comparison is the thief of joy, right? So what's happening is it's stopping these children from moving and doing things because it's like, oh my God, we're just seeing people's, 5 years into their journey. So when these kids are starting, it makes you shrink. I mean, I've done that, guys, from even when I started this podcast. I'm like, oh, I'm never going to be Jay Shetty. I'm never going to be this person. It makes you shrink and like freeze and unable to do anything because you feel like you're never going to be able to get there. And the problem is we're not seeing the grit and the graft and all of the hard work that's going into it. And, you know, bringing it back to Dr. Sanjeev and I, we spoke about this Amazon world we're living in, this constant next day gratification. I'm going to share a personal story here. I was speaking to a friend of mine and they rang me up and they said they were winding down their business. And I was like, oh my God, but you guys are doing so well. And they'd made all of this stuff. I won't say what it was. And I was like, what's happening? He's like, well, do you know what? We just thought we were going to sell out. We were meant to be in Holland and Barrett. And then we were meant to go into Waitrose. They've not really come back with an answer. We started this thing and we just thought we would have been sold out by now. So it's not really working. Yeah. And I was like, oh, if you don't mind me asking, how many months have you actually been going? He was like 5. So I don't know if that's like ends up being like 23 weeks, guys. He's not too much younger than me. He's only like 30. But I said to him, I was like, and I mean this in the kindest way possible, this is everything that's wrong in the world. We have no idea anymore the grit and the graft it takes to get us for where we need to be. We have no idea about time because everything seems like it's instant. And if it's not instant, then we don't feel like it's for us. But the truth is that hard work and good work and sustainability takes time. One of my first episodes, or I think it was season 2, was with Lucy Allen, and she had started Never Fully Dressed, which a lot of you would recognise now, and she's amazing, and we work with them sometimes. And she kind of, if you like, quote unquote, popped up during COVID, and someone said that to her. She's like, oh my God, you guys have just popped up. She was like, you didn't see me 14 years ago starting on market stalls at 4 a.m. so cold that I thought my fingers were going to drop. All you're seeing is this highlighted stuff. She's like, she had worked her arse off for fucking over a decade, 14 years to get to where she is. 14 years. And it seems like none of us want to do this anymore. And it seems like this availability to look into other people's lives is basic. I feel like this availability that we're looking into other people's lives is stopping us from staying in our lane, because we're not just focusing on our end goal. We're now looking into our peers' lanes. Where are you going? What are you doing? And we're not just focusing on what we want to do. We're living in a world that is so distracting. And when I first started the show, I was like, oh, I'm going to give it a year. Oh, no, guys, this is me being honest. I'm going to give it a year. If I'm not where I want to be, I'm going to give up. And the biggest thing I've learned from doing this show, and the biggest thing I will ever take away from all of the work that I do, is that things take time. Joe Rogan didn't get to where he was until like 7 years in. Like, I watched Mel Robbins yesterday in London, and she started giving talks 12 years ago, and she shared some of her social media content, and she pulled it up. And I mean, she was like, look how cringe this is. Look how awful it is. I mean, guys, she was getting like 12 likes. That would stop most of us now. Be like, do you know what? We're obviously not on the right path. Rather than really leaning in for what's for us. And I hope anyone that's listening to this, you just know that things take so much longer than you think. For me, I don't know if you guys have looked into it, but it's like the 7-year cycles. So I said to my boyfriend the other day, I was like, I'm going to give this a really good go. Like, for at least, if you're giving something a right good go, yeah, guys, bearing in mind that Brogan lived to be like 90, I was like, I'm giving it a go for 7 years. Like, if I'm really going to give this a fucking go and see where it gets to. But my fear is, and exactly just bringing back to the conversation I had with my friend, is that, mate, 23 weeks, you put all that money into it. Like, I said to him, like, of course there's going to be grit. Like, I don't want to use the word deluded, but like, how deluded did you think you were going to be there? And, you know, he referenced another drinks brand. But I was like, mate, they started off with £3 million of investment 6 years ago. You know, you only know this other brand now. And I think it's a really sad time, because it's stopping all of us from doing the things that we love from long enough, because we feel like we're not good enough at doing it. And I just want to highlight the fact to everyone, like, things take so much longer than what we think. Anyway, bringing it back to the devices. So for me, this isn't just about, oh my God, I would love to see the internet blown up, guys. I'd fucking love that. But also then I wouldn't be able to get to do what I get to do. But there has to be some kind of boundaries in place and like some knowing. And I think people need to be talking out more about the facts. What you see online is not real. It's like, it's someone's curated highlights, especially to children, because, you know, let's be honest, we've all fucking done it. Filters. She doesn't look like that, hun. I can't tell you how many influencers I've met, and probably people might think that of me, guys. And I'm like, she don't fucking look like that. And these young girls are losing all of their self-esteem and self-worth because they think they don't look like someone's filtered picture. And for me, that's really scary. And like, I'm lucky enough to have a boy. Obviously, I'd be lucky if I had a girl anyway. But I especially feel for girls, because I've been that young girl. I mean, I probably speak for most of us, yeah? The young girl that's never felt enough, who's never felt pretty enough. I don't know how much you listen to the show, but I was 11 stone, guys. when I was 11. I used to think it went up every year. And that would have probably pushed me over the edge if I'd have watched all my peers looking fucking perfect. And I would have felt the need to edit myself to put it up. And the online space is wreaking havoc with our children. I cannot tell you guys, the conversations I have in this room are so important. I know at the minute it feels like they're all really heavy, and I'm not sitting here saying go and fuck off the iPads. I'm just sitting here and saying, if they are going to live on that online space, and if you have got a 14-year-old, like, sit them down, explain. She don't look like that, hun. All you're seeing is the top stuff. Be careful with who they're following, right? Make sure they're only accounts that will bring them up. Like things that will inspire them. You don't want them to see more things that they're going to compare themselves to. And the biggest message we can give to our kids are these things take time. And it's so important to understand that, because I feel like we're living in a generation with this noise and distraction where we feel like we're fucking running out of time. You know, started a business 23 weeks later, I've not sold out, I'm selling it. What on earth? And I think when it comes to our kids, by the way, I'm no parenting guru, guys. I just feel that I've learnt so much through some really interesting conversations I've had on the show that I want to share them. And it's really important that we start to prioritise play and presence over connection and clicks and content and convenience and everything else. I hope you find this useful. And completely going off tangent. No, it's not off tangent. I have one of these. It's an EMF protector on my phone. Please, the best thing you can do for yourself and for your kids is get them, put them on every single device. I don't care what anyone says. I don't give a fuck if you think I'm woo-woo. These are emitting frequencies all of the time, right? Protect ourselves where we can. Turn the Wi-Fi off at night. Like, I'm sure we will come back and we will talk about EMF poisoning and radiation poisoning to come. Everyone in the studio thinks I'm fucking crazy, but I'm telling you now, and I'm telling you how I felt sleeping next to Wi-Fi boxes before. It messes with your brain. It's an all energy. But on a more positive note, thank you for tuning in to Getting There. And this is a conversation we all need to be having. Parents, teachers, tech leaders as well, policymakers. And if this conversation struck a chord with you guys, please share it. Having that uncomfortable conversation, ask awkward questions, because nothing changes if nothing changes. Much love, you guys, and I'll see you soon.